Okay, well, back again. I think this is the latest I've done a recording. I'm probably going to be quite quiet because I actually do know for a fact that people are awake and I don't want to be too loud. But I don't know, I just couldn't sleep. I was like, I want to get out of bed at least because I was feeling miserable, and I'd rather not feel miserable in bed. I'd rather get out of bed to feel miserable, I guess. I don't know. I don't quite know what I'm talking about today. Maybe I just needed a chance to talk. Maybe it's just from earlier I wanted to talk about something in specific. I think if I had to say what I'm talking about today, it would be that I need to turn my music down because holy hell is it loud currently. I can't hear myself. It would be probably that I need to also reset this. It'd probably be about motivation and burnout, as that's kind of the thing I want to talk about right now, especially with how I'm feeling about stuff. It's kind of what I want to speak. So yeah, I guess I will. For those unaware, I don't know who's unaware and I don't know who listens to these, so I'm going to assume everyone's unaware. I have no idea what I mention and when. I do game dev. I want to make game. Well, for now I'll say I want to make games for a living, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to run my own studio and make games and that stuff, and I've wanted to do that for God knows how long, as long as I remember. I couldn't tell you a time when that was. I could. A very, very long time ago, before I was a teenager, I wanted to do content creation. But since that point, I mean, since like even year 7, I'm kind of known I've wanted to do game dev. Like, ultimately, like, content creation's cool, it's fine, but it's like, I don't see a life in it. And I thought I did in game dev. And so that's kind of what I've always worked towards running my own studio, to doing my own thing like that. I took a business GCSE, I took computer science GCSE, media's kind of half related. I did game design and development in college. I did one games course for my first year of uni, I switched to a different one for my second. And I thought this is what I wanted to do. And this past year, this year, since the new year basically, so literally this year, I've not been that sure. I got very burnt out at the end of the year, and I guess it might be more accurate to say the start of the year. It's kind of a mix of both, but I got very, very burnt out. And I kind of lived with it for a while. I didn't really recognize that it was me being burnt out. Originally, it was like, oh, well, I guess I'm something. I guess I'm tired, or I was just fed up with what I was currently working on, or something along those lines, you know? I thought that's what it was. And I also thought it was to do with the fact of, like, I just done a uni assignment which I wasn't happy with, and I wasn't happy with how it went, and among other things. I was like, it was probably just that. I was probably just upset at myself for not doing as well as I know I'm very well capable of not doing well, I guess. And then it kind of got past the point where I could still claim it was that. And it kind of got to like mid-February, March maybe, and I was like, oh, I still don't want to do it. I still have no energy to do anything games related. I guess February is probably more accurate. But like me, I felt like I had no energy to work on anything to do with games, to work on projects. I didn't open the engine, I didn't try to do stuff, I didn't try to do game jams, I didn't try to do my own projects. I did nothing, and I just stopped. Sure, I still did uni, but the uni module at this time, the one I've just done, was like business one. It had nothing to do with actual engine, so it was very easy to kind of separate them. And it kind of took a while, but I kind of started feeling somewhat like I was back into wanting to work on it, back into wanting to make games. I'd gotten a team together, we'd started doing projects. It was like, yeah, I feel like doing stuff. I feel like I want to, I feel like I'm capable. And that's kind of been fine. But I've known the entire time that the drive never fully came back. I didn't put the time in which I would. I didn't work on stuff outside of things. I had no real desire, and maybe that's also just a product of the project we decided to work on wasn't my favourite. It wasn't one I was like really excited for, and like I could live with that, because the ultimate goal for me was to get a studio off the ground. I will work on a project I'm not that interested to do that, and that's fine by me. That makes sense. But maybe I shouldn't have taken that so lightly. Maybe I should have pushed harder for something I was more interested in. But ultimately, we've been working on this project, and we'll get in call like once, maybe twice a week. And I want to do calls more often, because it's kind of the same thing I talked when I talked about education. I kind of need someone over my shoulder, someone looking, going, are you working? Are you doing this stuff? I need that. And because of that, whenever we've not been in meetings, I basically haven't touched it. And others haven't, but I don't expect them to have. They've been working, or they've got they're in a position where it's like, yeah, I could understand why they wouldn't have. I'm not really. And then we've been working on it today, and it's like, okay, well, we're kind of making progress. And then it's like, oh, I don't think this narrative makes any sense, and I think we should change all this, and I think we should change all that. And I won't lie, it's probably me being petty, because it's like, oh, I wrote the narrative. Like, I came up with it's not like detailed, so it's not massive, but it's like, came up with the general, like, idea. And like, that was me, and that's what I did, and I like writing, and that's gonna be its own ramble. But it's just, I guess I realised my ego's more fragile than I realised, and I knew it wasn't the strongest, the most resistant. Evidently, though, it's more than even that, more than I thought. And it's like them going, yeah, we don't think like we should change this, and we should like change these things we've kind of already talked about and kind of planned, and like people had said were fine. And it was kind of me, I guess I was annoyed over the fact that it's like, if people don't like my ideas, like I might be annoyed about it, but I'm not gonna like kick up a fuss. It's like, that's what it is, and like, you gotta move on, you gotta live with that. But it was like, the skeleton of it had been kind of figured out months ago even, and it's like, they go, oh yeah, I'm not sure if I like it, and it's been what? It's been like a month, and it's like, now they're saying they never really liked it, and it's like, I think it's quite good. I think it's got some good foundation. I think it's got some interesting stuff. and no one else had brought up a problem, and then someone says they never really liked it, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, no, I think there's been real problems with it. And I don't know if it's just a communication thing, but it's just, I was so frustrated. And it's like, I left the call quite quickly after that, because I was like, I know I'm not in any state to actually at least constructively talk about it. I knew I was in no state for that. And I left, I went to bed, and I was like, wow, all of a sudden, this drive that had kind of built itself back up is all gone again. It's completely gone. The drive I'd kind of figured out, the drive that had kind of been working, is just gone. Like, completely. It's like, it's all gone. I don't know how else to say it other than it just felt like it all just disappeared. Which kind of showed to me the drive that I had formed was much more fragile than I had initially thought. I thought I'd not fully, but like at least somewhat kind of got my drive, got my motivation back, and then for this single thing to happen and it just to all crumble like instantly and just go, wow, I don't want to do this anymore, just from that feels quite extreme. And I don't know, I've just lived my entire life for like as long as I can remember at this point. It's like probably a decade at this point, saying like, even when I was like wanting to do content creation, it was still games. Like, I wanted to do games, and I don't know when that manifested in me wanting to do my own studio. I'm not someone who's got such like a profound reason, like, oh, this is why I wanted to, or like this is my drive. I don't have that. I think it would be better if I did. I do think it would be better if I did. I had to pause, so I've kind of lost all track of what I was saying. So I'll try and remember what on earth I was saying, but it's probably along the lines of, wow, I have no drive to do this anymore, and I've spent my entire life wanting to. What's up with that? Which is kind of how I feel. So I'm probably been speaking quiet all day today in comparison to other ones, just because I want to be quieter. What do you do? But no, it's like, I've spent so long kind of convinced that game dev is what I'm going to do, to the point where I think I've ended up putting all my eggs in one basket. And it's like, it's not like I never thought I'd get burnt out, but I thought it would at least take, you know, until I got a job, or like I was actually in industry. But I'm like not even close to that yet. I'm anywhere from a year to 4 years out, and still I don't know, I'm still, despite of that, I'm already burnt out, and I don't really have other options. It's like I said, I put all my eggs in one basket. I spent my life kind of learning and dedicated to game dev in one way or another. It's what all my courses were picked over, it's what all my education was around. And then now that it's kind of got to the point where, oh, I'm not sure if I want to do it, I don't have other options. My only other option is just to, I guess, not take it seriously, just to kind of pull back all the drive that I had once. all this interest in doing my own thing and just go, yeah, I'll just work a job. And I don't want to do that, because that sounds boring and I think I'd hate it. But I can't enjoy trying to do my own thing currently, which doesn't leave me with any other options, really. And it's like, if I don't do game dev, what do I do? And there's only one real answer to that. Well, there's two. I could technically do content creation, but I'm not going to pull that off. God, I hate video editing, among other things. I'm not going to pull off doing content creation. I don't have the drive for that to that degree. It's like it's a fun pastime to stream, but it's like it's not going to be a job. And so it's like, well, if not that, then what else? Well, I could do writing. I'd like to write. I enjoy writing a lot, so maybe I could write. But like, becoming a writer and living off that is even more risky and perilous than game dev is. And game dev's already not easy. It's kind of one of the worst paid jobs in the tech industry, one of the worst paid sectors in the tech industry, because it's ultimately kind of entertainment. And because of that, it's like, well, it's not, neither of them are great, but I at least had a great drive and one seemed more stable. And now the stability's kind of been going with COVID and all the mass layoffs and everything to do with that. All stability which might have existed to that degree is gone completely. And so what else is there? Well, it's still trying to do it, and then just, it's a bit riskier, I guess. But it's still my only option. My option is game dev, ultimately, and I don't have other options. I mean, I could try to pivot into just more general tech industry, but I don't know any of it. All my education has been around this. I'm actually kind of terrible when it comes to kind of general computer stuff. I'm like decent at coding. I'm like not great. There's so many people around me which are leagues better. So, like, I'm just don't know what to do, because like I said, I'm burnt out and have no drive to improve or to work on myself, and yet it's my only option, and that doesn't really mesh well. It tends to not work very well, and it just puts me in a weird position. And like I said, I thought I'd kind of had started to get my drive back from what like currently working on, and like that's fun and having a decent time with that and stuff. And then it's like hit where I currently am, and it's like, oh, actually maybe not. Maybe it's not back. Maybe I actually do kind of still hate it. And what? Like, what do you mean? And it's like, it's not even like anything that serious, really. Like today, it was, oh, people disagreed with me and told me how to do the thing I'm meant to be doing better and stuff. But it's like, I evidently have a much more fragile ego than I thought. And it's probably also just combined with numerous other things. Like, it's probably also combined with the fact that I have very little drive for any game dev at the moment. And that drive is kind of going into a project where there's bits I like, but like, overall it's not a thing I'm insane about. Whereas I kind of do have ideas which are more interesting to me, but aren't as interesting to the others, or it doesn't make sense to do currently at this point. It makes sense to do something a bit more normal, safer. And I don't know. I don't have the drive, the thing that was meant to define the next few decades of my life, and I haven't known how to handle that. I haven't known at all. And that's a problem that I need to solve. And I don't know how. And I don't know. I really, really don't know. I don't know where I'm kind of supposed to go. Like, realistically, the correct answer would be work on my own thing, find that fun again. But at that point, it's hard to get going on something you're not really having fun with. And especially for someone like me, it's so much easier just to go, I'm not having any fun with this. And sure, I could try to get myself back into it and try to pull that off. But there's this other thing which I am finding fun, which is so much simpler. So why don't I just do that ultimately? And that's the tough bit. It's like, how do I get myself to prioritize this thing that I'm burnt out over, but don't really have an option? Like, sure, I could use the summer to kind of get my bearings again, but there's a problem with that. There's a big problem with that. The problem with that is, wow, yeah, sure, I could get my bearings back over the summer, but we were wanting to use this summer to try and have an attempt at getting off the ground ourselves, because the others are all graduates or out of education, so it's literally just me. And so if we manage to pull something off to get people interested or funding or something along those lines, then it would be possible to just go straight into the industry, to have this option, for them to have this income, for me to be able to get out of education. And I don't want to let this chance slip, but it's like, we've got a month to work on this thing, and the drive, it doesn't feel like the drive from others is there. I don't feel the drive, and I don't know. I feel like I'm just repeating the same things over and over, but it's what's in my brain. It's how my brain works. Normally I'd be thinking all this and listening to sad music instead of playing a marble game, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have much to say at all. I don't know what I would say. I just know that my position I feel like I'm in currently is one that I don't know how to get out of, and that just sucks. And I need to get out of it because it's the only option to me. It's the only solution. And I don't know. I really don't. And I don't think I've got much else to say, because this isn't really a talk about game dev as a whole. It's just my feelings about being terribly burnt out and miserable and all that, and how I've got, what month is May, so June, July, I guess 2 months overall. Got like 2 months to put together something that could define the next 4 years of my future, because it's either pull this off or go back to education. So if I don't pull this off, then I'm going back to education for a year, and then a placement year, and then my final year. So 3 more years of like full education it would be. And I'd rather not do education. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense, like, to try again if I miss this opportunity. It's like, if I miss this opportunity, I miss this chance to kind of start my own thing. Sure, I could try again the following year or the following summer, but there's no point, because after that point then there's the chance to do industry, and I may as well take that opportunity to work somewhere for a year, like properly. And then after that it's like, sure, I could try again, but then after that it's my final year, which would just be like, maybe I actually just focus on uni again for a single year, and then I'd get a full degree out of it, which would do me good in a lot of places. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what to do. And I wanted the solution to be simple, to work on my own thing, to work on this thing with others, and it's just not being that simple. And that sucks, because I know it's not going to be that simple. It'll never be that simple. Life has no reason to be that simple, but God, I wish it was. God, I wish it was as simple as just, yeah, well, this is what you want to do. But it never will be. I don't think I've got a point. I don't think I've got anything further to say. I just think I really wanted to talk after that call, which left me feeling terrible. I mean, the rest of the call been good. Got like a logo sorted as well. Like that was just something we had to do today, and like got future stuff sorted. And that's all great. I guess I just wanted to talk, because like I said, I just felt quite bad. I just didn't feel good about, I think the ultimate crux is I had not been feeling great. I'd been burnt out, and then I kind of thought I'd overcome that to a degree, and then it's kind of realizing, oh, maybe I haven't, because I still feel terrible about this. And like all it took was like a couple people just saying, I don't think this is good, kind of thing, to just immediately destroy what I had spent a couple months building up. And I didn't realize I was that fragile, I guess. I don't know, maybe masculine fragility will be another talk I do. I couldn't tell you. Who knows, honestly. But I do think that's just the crux of it. I don't know. I mean, I'm still upset about that. Not necessarily the fact that they had issues, at least I would like to think it's not that. I think my issue more is the fact that they said that they never liked it, and they thought it was always bad, and they just never thought to say, like, they just left it. But it's like, as soon as one person says, there might be a problem with this, it's like dogpile, and then immediately like pivot. It's, I don't know. I guess I'm more for like, once something's agreed, we should try harder to try and keep it that way, over just immediately trying to pivot as soon as it looks wrong. It's like, the reason it looked wrong is because the way this level was being developed meant some of the story points didn't make a load of sense. But like, the story should inform the level instead of the other way around. But it's like, a couple of points are brought up, and it's like, to me they make sense, and to other people they don't, and that's fine, that's just difference. But it's just how quickly it was tossed out, and just, I guess it felt like a lack of trust, because it was like, not only, and I did make sure to say this, not only did I feel quite, well, I'm not sure, I didn't say that I felt bad about it, but I made it clear that next time, should they dislike something and like not think it's not good at all, to not leave it a month to say, like they had, because that just causes more problems. And I do feel like I was going to say something else, and I blanked. But you know, it's not just that they didn't like it. If they didn't like it, that's fine. It's the fact that they left it so long, and I think, like I said, it's just the fact that they didn't, I don't know, stick it through, maybe? It's like, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what... I don't know, it's tough. I struggle with this stuff, unsurprisingly. I'm a weak boy sometimes. How it feels. I don't know. I really don't. No, I guess it's the fact that it was like such a sudden pivot, and it was like we'd had this idea that we'd worked on for a while, and it seemed good, and people seemed to like it, and then it was like one thing comes up, and then it's tossed out the window. And I don't know. I think I'm just complaining for the sake of complaining at this point, which means I should stop complaining. Like if I've got something to complain about, then fair enough. But I don't. I'm clearly just still fragile. I don't know what my solution's gonna be. It might be, oh, we just work on it still. I would just move on and live with it. That's up there with the solutions, definitely. It's one of the solutions of all time. And not one I'd be surprised if I took ultimately. But, yeah. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this sort of thing as well. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to fit a role that I wasn't really made for. And that's fine. That happens sometimes. I just feel like I'm going to become one of those terrible managers which got to manager and then is a terrible manager, because I feel like I'm terrible in management positions sometimes. But I'd like to not be, because I'd like to run my own. I don't know, I'm rambling, which, as always, it's fine. I'm allowed to ramble on my rambling channel, but it's pointless rambling. It feels like I don't have anywhere to go with it. I'm just rambling for the sake of complaining. And that's it, I guess. I don't know. I probably should just end. I don't have anything else meaning to say, but I guess I want to. I guess I want to say something else. Not that I've realized what that is, and oh great, isn't that something great about humans? That we will have issues and complaints and we can't instantly know what the issue is. One thing after another, it feels. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I've got anything else to say at this point. Maybe I'm just dragging it out so I can at least finish this level in this episode. Because if you don't finish the level, it puts you back to the start, so I guess I just finish it off recording, but it's like... It's nice to finish it on the recording, but except I can't do basic jumps. I don't know. I should just end it. I don't mean like suicide. I have no interest in suicide, which is something, I guess. Suicide's probably a topic I won't ever do a ramble on, mainly just because I don't feel like I've got anything to say about it from my own experiences. What else will I do rambles on? Gender and identity, the Yuri rant will happen one day. I guess just talk about... I'd like to do a talk about trans. Not that I am trans, but I feel like I've got stuff to say about myself, not about other trans people. Want to make that clear. But I don't know. I guess that, and then I want to talk about other stories. I probably should sprinkle. I should like balance them. I should do like another light-hearted topic after this, instead of me just being miserable at 1:30 in the morning after complaining just for half an hour. Which no one's gonna want to hear. No one's gonna want to hear my complaining. Okay, I'm very much dragging it out at this point. I'm gonna end. Thank you for listening. As always, my opinions. Complain like an adult. You should go to bed. I probably should too.